On March 15, 2024, during my very first shift as a psychiatric nurse, I encountered a patient who told me the exact date, time, and method of my own death, information that has proven disturbingly accurate in ways I'm only beginning to understand. What began as a routine orientation shift at a maximum security psychiatric facility became an encounter with something that challenges not just my understanding of mental illness, but the very nature of time, mortality, and whether some patients might be receiving information from sources we cannot comprehend. My name is Sarah Chen, and 3 weeks ago, I should have died exactly as this patient predicted. The only reason I'm alive to tell this story is because his warning allowed me to alter the circumstances he had foreseen. I had just graduated from the University of California's Psychiatric nursing program with specialized training in forensic psychiatry. Blackwater State Hospital is a 600-bed maximum security psychiatric facility in Northern California, housing the state's most dangerous mentally ill patients who have committed violent crimes while experiencing acute psychiatric episodes. As a newly licensed psychiatric nurse, I was assigned to Ward 12, the facility's highest security unit. My responsibilities included medication administration under armed guard supervision, crisis intervention during violent episodes, and therapeutic interaction with patients who had committed murders and assaults during psychotic breaks. The patient who changed my life was David Marsh, a 47-year-old man who had been a resident for 11 years, following a series of 7 murders that occurred during what was documented as a severe schizophrenic episode. Between October and December 2012, David had killed 7 people in apparently random attacks, claiming he was preventing worse deaths that were scheduled to occur. Before his psychiatric break, David had been a mathematics professor at UC Berkeley, specializing in theoretical physics and temporal mechanics. His murders had been methodical and precise. In each case, he had approached victims weeks before killing them, providing detailed warnings about the deaths that were coming, and offering to substitute a quick death now for the prolonged suffering scheduled for later. His psychiatric evaluation revealed severe paranoid schizophrenia with grandiose delusions involving temporal perception and future death prevention. Despite 11 years of intensive treatment, David continued to maintain that he could perceive scheduled deaths and had been trying to save his victims from more terrible fates. That Friday morning started with ominous warnings from my supervisor, Marcus Thompson, a veteran psychiatric nurse with 18 years of experience. "Sarah, David Marsh is unlike any patient you've encountered," Marcus explained. "He's completely lucid and intellectually brilliant, but he's absolutely convinced that he can see future deaths. Never be alone with him, and don't let him engage you in detailed conversations about death or time." We approached David's cell at 8:30 a.m. for morning medication administration. David was working on complex mathematical equations when he looked up at me, his expression changing to what appeared to be profound sadness. "Sarah Elizabeth Chen," David said slowly, "born June 14, 1999, in San Francisco. You're going to die on April 8, 2024 at 3:17 p.m. A drunk driver running a red light will hit your car at the intersection of Market and 5th Street. The impact will crush your chest, and you'll die of internal bleeding approximately 4 minutes after the collision." The specificity and calm certainty of David's statement sent ice through my veins. Marcus immediately stepped between David and me. "I'm not threatening her, Marcus. I'm warning her," David continued. "Sarah's death is scheduled for April 8th, but unlike my previous cases, she has enough advance notice to avoid that intersection at that time." "David, how do you know my full name and birth date?" I asked. "The same way I know that your sister Jennifer is going to call you tonight at 9:23 p.m. to tell you she's pregnant with twins, and the same way I know that Dr. Wilson will have a heart attack in the staff break room on March 28th at 11:45 a.m. David continued writing equations while speaking. "I perceive scheduled events across temporal streams." Over the following hours, David demonstrated knowledge no hospitalized patient could possess. He described private staff conversations, predicted phone calls before they happened, and provided accurate details about events occurring outside the hospital. "Marcus, your wife decided this morning to file for divorce," David said during our 10 a.m. round. "She'll serve you with papers next Tuesday at 2:15 p.m. Your wife, Linda, has been meeting your neighbor Jim Patterson every Tuesday and Thursday while you're at work." Marcus's face went pale. "That's impossible." At 1:30 p.m., David informed me that Dr. Wilson was experiencing chest pains and would collapse from a heart attack in 14 minutes. If someone checks on her within the next 20 minutes, she can be saved. If not, she'll die of cardiac arrest at 1:47 p.m. We called Dr. Wilson's office. When she didn't answer, we requested a security check. At 1:43 p.m., security found Dr. Wilson unconscious from a massive heart attack. Emergency intervention saved her life. That evening, my sister Jennifer called at 9:23 p.m. to tell me she was pregnant with twins. The following Tuesday, Marcus confirmed his wife had served divorce papers at 2:15 p.m. and that he had discovered her affair with Jim Patterson. Every prediction David made came true with disturbing accuracy. Most disturbing was his continued focus on my predicted death, providing additional details each day. The drunk driver's name is Robert Mitchell. He's 34 years old, and he'll have been drinking at Murphy's Tavern since 1:30 p.m. His blood alcohol level will be 0.18 when he runs the red light, David explained. If you call in an anonymous tip about a drunk driver at exactly 3:10 p.m. on April 8th, police will arrest Robert before he reaches your intersection. As April 8th approached, I decided to test David's accuracy by working a double shift at the hospital, ensuring I would be nowhere near downtown San Francisco at 3:17 p.m. At 3:10 p.m., I called in an anonymous tip reporting a severely intoxicated driver at Murphy's Tavern. At 3:17 p.m., my roommate called to inform me that a drunk driver had crashed into a parked car at the exact intersection David had specified. Police confirmed that Robert Mitchell had been arrested 7 minutes before the crash based on my tip. "Sarah, you successfully avoided your scheduled death," David told me the next morning. "But altering major temporal events creates ripple effects. Your continued existence will now cause changes in other people's scheduled deaths." "What kind of changes?" "Your mother was supposed to have a stroke on April 15th from grief over losing you. Since you're alive, her stroke has been prevented. But your survival means someone else will die in your place. Temporal balance requires certain death quotas to be maintained." David's predictions about ripple effects proved accurate. My mother remained healthy, but my coworker Janet Morrison died in a car accident on April the 22nd, exactly as David had warned. "David, are you saying that saving my life caused Janet's death? Every prevented death creates cascading effects throughout the timeline. This is why I killed my previous subjects rather than warning them. Preventing deaths disrupts the temporal balance and causes other deaths to occur." The implications were terrifying. If David's ability was genuine, then his murders might have been attempts to maintain cosmic balance by substituting quick deaths for prolonged suffering. "David, why didn't you kill me instead of warning me?" "Because your death would have caused a chain reaction affecting 17 other people's death schedules. Your survival creates fewer temporal disruptions." 6 months later, David continues providing accurate predictions about future deaths and crises. The most disturbing aspect is his claim that his murders were mercy killings designed to prevent worse deaths and minimize temporal disruption. David Marsh remains at Blackwater State Hospital, serving an indefinite commitment for 7 murders that may have been attempts to prevent greater suffering. His case has fundamentally altered my understanding of psychiatric treatment and the possibility that some patients might be accessing information about future events we cannot comprehend. The question that haunts me most is whether preventing deaths that are scheduled to occur creates moral obligations that challenge everything we believe about saving lives. If David's perceptions are genuine, then every prevented death might cause other deaths to occur, making the act of saving lives a complex moral calculation rather than an unquestionable good. I continue working at Blackwater, but David's words about scheduled deaths and temporal balance echo in my mind every day. His warning saved my life, but it also opened my awareness to the possibility that some psychiatric patients might be experiencing realities that extend far beyond our understanding of time, consciousness, and human mortality.